How you doing, folks? Back here for another fight card prediction. We've actually got two fight cards this upcoming Saturday. We have UFC Fight Night 48 from Macau, China, as Michael Bisping faced Kung Lee in the main event over there. I will be breaking down UFC Fight Night 49, Henderson versus Dos Anjos. I'm going to give you a couple of quick predictions. I think that Kung Lee will beat Michael Bisping. I believe that Tyron Woodley will beat Dong Yong Kim via decision. Looking forward to seeing Shinzo Anzai, and I hope Danny Mitchell gets the win over there in China as well. OSP Beta last weekend, great main card. Loved it. I thought it was a decent event to watch. Go follow the guys at Kingdom MMA. You may see last week I put my first lot of bets out on there. Didn't have a good night for betting whatsoever for the first time in about 4 months. I didn't have a great night. I had a good night betting on Cage Warriors, but not the UFC. So go follow the guys at Kingdom MMA. They're some of the best up-and-coming guys over here in Europe. And we're going to be doing some big things, hopefully, in the next few years over there at Kingdom MMA. So go give the guys a follow. Just great guys to be around, and they give me an opportunity. If you're a fan of MMA and you like writing about MMA, they might give you a chance too. So go give the guys a follow and look at all the articles and interviews that they do. Onto this card, some fights I'm really looking forward to seeing. Some decent fights in the card. We're going to start all the way down in the flyweight division. We've got Wilson Reis against Joby Sanchez. Wilson Reis, veteran of the sport. I think it's his third fight in UFC. Lost to Yuri Alcantara last time out. It's making the drop down to flyweight against Joby Sanchez, who's fighting out a team Winklejohns out at Albuquerque, New Mexico. So any fighter that comes out of that camp, is going to be fairly decent, and they're going to be very hard working and have probably great gas tanks considering the elevation that they work out there in New Mexico. Joby Sanchez, 3 knockout wins, 3 submission wins. The fights that I have seen, he looks very dangerous, very quick, gets in and out really well, and that might come in handy here against Wilson Reis. But I just believe that Wilson Reis' experience is going to get him through this fight. Reis is a guy who's fought over here in Cage Warriors, and he's fought all over the place, and he's a very tough guy. I'm going to go Wilson Reis by decision. Next up, we've got the returning Ben Saunders against Chris Heatherly. Ben Saunders has been fighting in Bellator for the last 4 years, 3-4 years. Did okay over there, beat a lot of guys, but eventually lost twice to the king of the welterweight division over there in Douglas Lima. His first fight in the UFC since UFC 117. Hasn't he won a few fights in the UFC, but against not great names. So it was kind of surprised when I seen him on this card. He's against Chris Heatherly, who's 8-1. He is a guy who I watched fight a month ago. He beat Josh Caven in the RFA. Beat Dakota Cochran, and his only loss is to Alex Garcia, who's also fighting in this card. So I think the quality opponents, the more quality opponents that Saunders has faced is going to come in very handy in this fight, and I think he will win. I think he'll knock out Chris Heatherly, to be honest with you. I think he'll do it in the second round. Next up is a fight I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. Aaron Phillips against Matt Hober. Aaron Phillips is a guy. He's actually dropping down from the featherweight division to the bantamweight division. Very good kickboxer. I seen in his last fight he kind of got taken down, so hopefully he's worked on his takedown defense a little bit here, because Matt Hober is going to look for that. He's by far the better wrestling. He lost last time out to Pedro Munoz in Brazil. Phillips has definitely got the edge on the feet. Hober has definitely got the edge on the ground, so it's going to be whether Phillips can stop the takedown and get off on Hober, and if Hober is going to be pursuing the takedown. So I'm going to go Aaron Phillips by knockout. I think if he hits Hober with the same shot that Munoz hit him with, and Phillips is a lot rangier and he probably hits harder than Munoz as well, I think he could put him out. So I'm going to go Aaron Phillips by knockout in the second round. Next up, we've got Beneil Dariush against Tony Martin. Both guys coming off losses. Tony Martin to Rashid Magomedov, and Dariush off a knockout of he's coming off a knockout against Ramsey Nijum back in Abu Dhabi, where he was actually looking fairly decent early on in that fight and got caught, as you do. Very good fighter. He hits hard on his feet, and he's got some pedigree down on the ground as well. He's fairly decent down there as well. And I like him in this fight, so I'm going to go Beneil Dariush by decision. Next up is a very close fight, I believe. Neil Magny against Alex Garcia. Neil Magny's coming off, I think he only fought maybe 6 weeks ago in New Zealand, so he's back in there very, very quickly again. I think he beat De Lima by knockout over there. He beat Ulamatov as well. I can't remember who else did he beat. He beat Ulamatov then. Let me see. Tim Means by decision, and then he, as I say, knocked out De Lima last time there. Garcia's going to want to pursue the takedown. He's very explosive, but he does gas fairly quickly. I think Magny's got the better tank out the two of them here. Garcia, I beat Sean Spencer last time out. I just think it's just one of these close fights. Magny's going to have the reach. I think he might be the better kind of all-round striker. He'll use his if he stays at range, I think he'll win the fight. But Garcia's going to want to get in close and get the takedown. So I am going to go. I want to say Magny, but I'm going to go Alex Garcia by decision, just split decision. In the main card, we've got Chaz Skelly against Tom Ninimaki. Chaz Skelly is coming off both guys yet again are coming off losses. Chaz Skelly is coming off a loss to Mirsad Bektic, who's also fighting in this card. Majority decision went Bektic's way, but I thought he looked very, very good in the first fight, did Skelly. He hurt Bektic a few times. He is a submission fighter as well, and he showed a lot of improvements from the fights I'd seen before on the feet last time as well. So Ninimaki coming off a loss to Nicholas Backstrom, who just looks very impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing him in Sweden as well. Before that, I think he beat Rani Yahya, so he's been around a long time as Tom Ninimaki fights out of the Black Zillions, I think it is, if I remember right. I think Chaz Skelly's just going to get the victory here. Would like to see Ninimaki from a European perspective, but I think that Chaz Skelly will just get a decision victory here, so I'm going to go Chaz Skelly. Next up is a fight I'm looking forward to seeing. We haven't really seen him that much. It's James Vick, who appeared on the Ultimate Fight, I think it was Cruz Faber season, against Wilmar Lazaro. Lazaro, 12-2, fights out in Nova União. Seen his last 3 fights in Shooto, all knockouts, but they're against fighters that altogether have a losing record. So it's not really saying much. James Vick, I think he's got 5 wins, 1 loss, 3 by submission. Very rangy, very, very long. And you've seen, I think it's Ramsey Nijum, I think about a year ago, he fought, and he's just his reach. He hurt Nijum, went down the ground, and then the big long limbs came in, and he just took over from there and choked him out. So I'm going to go, this fight could be quite close, I think. But I'm going to go James Vick. I think he can actually knock out Lazaro. I think he'll do it in the second round, so I'm going to go TKO James Vick. Featherweight division, we have Max Holloway against Mirsad Bektic. Looking at the odds of this, just the last half an hour, and Max Holloway's the underdog, so I may be looking at him for a bit of money here. Mirsad Bektic is a really good fighter at American Top Team. Seen him in the RFA. Looked very, very nervous last time out against Tony Martin. Not Tony Martin. Chaz Skelly, sorry, and looked really, really nervous, but once he kind of got into it, he hurt Skelly and just got the majority decision, which I think he deserved. Max Holloway, I think he's coming off a good load of wins. He beat Andre Fili last time, which sucked, because I do like Max Holloway, but I'm a big Andre Fili fan. Knocked him out, submitted him in the 3rd round at UFC 172 back in April. A win over Will Chope. Before that, losses to Conor McGregor and Dennis Bermudez. So he's fought some decent guys. Bermudez and McGregor, top 10ers in that division. So yeah, and this is one of the. I think that he can, if he gets this fight to the ground, he can really work on Mirsad Bektic. But I just think he's prone to a little bit some shots. I think he's very tough. He's got a good chin on him. Has a Holloway. He takes some good shots to the body as well, and he has fought the better caliber of opponents. But I think Bektic can hurt Holloway, and Holloway can. I think they can both hurt each other here. So it's like I've been thinking of this fight all day. I think I'm just going to go with Max Holloway, and I think he'll do it by decision. I think it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a potential fight of the night, this one here, I reckon. So I'm going to go Max Holloway decision. Next up, we have Francis Cormont against Thales Leites. Leites has come back to the UFC, 3 fights, won them all, looked very impressive. Knocked out Trevor Smith in Abu Dhabi. Francis Cormont's coming off 2 losses to CB Dollaway and Jacare. Francis Cormont is just a stinker to watch. He's really not great at all. I'm not a big fan of watching him fight. Hopefully Thales Leites can take him down and sub him, but I believe that Cormont will use his range. He'll stay away from Leites and try and pepper him with strikes. I think a lot of people forget that Francis Cormont's actually he's okay on his feet. He's fairly decent. He just doesn't use it enough. He lays in praise a little bit. I'm going to go Francis Cormont by decision. Co-main event, which is a kind of stinker considering what it could have been. It could have been Brandon Thatch, Jordan Mayen. We've got Mike Pyle against Jordan Mayen. I was looking at this earlier on as well, and I was actually kind of favouring Mike Pyle a little bit. And he's Mike Pyle's the kind of fighter, he can beat a lot of fighters in the gym, from what other fighters say. But once he kind of faces some of the top guys, he kind of gets murked like he did against Matt Brown. Came back with a kind of dominating win over TJ Wahlberger at UFC 171. Jordan Mayen, he lost to Matt Brown as well. A young guy who's been around for a long time, fought some good names. Coming off a win over Perpetual, a split decision. In fact, he kind of struggled in that fight. Perpetual could have maybe taken him out in that fight, but he got the decision victory nonetheless. He just needs to be careful against Mike Pyle here, I think, and he'll win this fight all night long as long as he doesn't go to the ground as well, because Mike Pyle is very dangerous when it goes to the ground, and he can catch you with stuff, and he's got devastating ground and pound as well. So I'm going to go Jordan Mayen by decision. Main event of the night, we have Benson Henderson against Rafael Dos Anjos. And Benson Henderson, last time out against Khabilov, looked very good. Khabilov hit him with some great shots. And he came back and he hurt Khabilov and then caught him with a beautiful choke, put him to sleep. Actually called it a 4th round submission. I made a lot of money off that submission that night. I think there was a few other people who follow me on Twitter that made some money that night, which was great. Dos Anjos, coming off a knockout victory over Jason High, and he's getting that caliber opponent which he deserves, because he is a top 10 on the division. He lost to Khabib before that, beat the Cowboy, beat Evan Dunham, Mark Bolchek, Njokwani. So he's beat top guys. He's definitely a top 10 in my opinion for that division. But I think we're going to see Benson Henderson here, the kind of tentative Benson Henderson. I don't think he's going to put Dos Anjos to sleep. I think he'll use his leg kicks. He'll try and hurt Dos Anjos on his feet. I think he's the Ranger fighter. He's going to try and pop him with the jabs and the hooks. Maybe take him down occasionally, but Dos Anjos' main game is the submission game, but his striking has come on leaps and bounds over the last few years, and he may hurt Henderson a little bit, but I think Henderson's too savvy a fighter, and I believe he'll just ride out a decision victory all day long. So I'm going to go Benson Henderson. So that is my picks for the card. I'll be back for a pretty shocking pay-per-view card next week. UFC 177, Barao v Dillashaw versus Barao 2, which is basically a one-fight card, and that's the main event. So I think it'll be a quick breakdown of that next week. I'll have that out next Monday. Share this if you can. Come follow me on Twitter, BigBilber7MMA. As I say, go check out Kingdom MMA. Great guys over there. And I will be back next Monday.